minutes. It is, we are checking in on the energy today from the park before I go on my 6 mile walk. So let's give it a few minutes to jump on in. I've been hearing this message for the past couple of days now. I've been hearing the universe say, if you show up, I'll show out. So I want to do a quick pull on that. If you show up, I'll show out. That's the message that I've been hearing for a few days now. Um, a lot of us are being asked to show up so the universe can show out. All right, so we're going to shuffle these cards to see if notification goes on out. Bringing some consistency back. It's beautiful out here today, also. Ooh, bottom of the deck protection. Hello, my love. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. This is Tarot in the Park. So I'm getting my been checking out the energy before. Hey, Miss T. You was? Oh, thank you, Miss T. I could use all of the love in the world, Miss T. So this is my new thing that I'm gonna be doing. We're gonna be doing some energy pull while I'm in the park and on my before I do my 6 mile hike. I'm just gonna jump on for a few minutes and we engage because I kind of feel like the world and what's going through now, like we're all going through something at this point. And one of the best way I know, hey Kelly Kales, okay. One of the things I know how to do when I'm going through something is kind of like give my gifts so other people can be, doing their work and healing too. So I guess we're gonna get through this together. So the past 2 days I've been hearing the universe say, maybe the past 3 days, I've been hearing the universe say, if you show up, I will show out. All you gotta do is show up and I'll show out. Right? So we're gonna take a look at energetically what we have in the cards, but I just want to give this message to anybody that's going to be watching and doing playback. I know that there's a lot of change happening right now, a lot of change, and there's a lot of uncertainties also. Like maybe things that were once certain, things that you knew for sure without a doubt, may not now be as certain as they once was. I know people are going through major, major life shifts of letting go of old things so the new things can come in. I know that people are walking away from different careers, from different relationships. Some people are having to walk away from family situations, right? So there's a lot of letting go and and starting anew now, right? And I kind of feel for this journey, for some people feel kind of like beaten up, like you've given and you've tried and you've done and you showed up and you've been the bigger person and you've done your work and you put in the time. And some people it's kind of like, all right, universe, when is it my turn? Like I think like I've been doing all of my work. I think that I've been showing up in the best version of myself. I think I've been doing what I'm supposed to be doing, right? So when is it going to be my turn, right? And I don't even want to say my turn. When is this shift going to happen that we've been talking about, universe, right? When is this shift going to happen? You keep saying to me, universe, that okay, things are not happening to me, but they're happening for me. But when is this for me going to happen? Like, okay, right? Like, how much shifts do we need to go through before shit starts shifting over here for me to actually see the shifts that we've been talking about for years, right? So, um, I'm here to tell you that the shift is actually here. It's not coming, it's here, right? But one of the requirements for this new shift that we're in is the requirement that you face the things that are fearful, you face the things that are uncomfortable, right? And you face the things that you may not have wanted to face for a really long time, right? One of the things that I'm having to face now in my current situation that I'm going through is that a relationship for me has been over for a really long time, but I didn't know that the relationship was over, right? For some people, it could be a career path was over for you for a really long time, and you may not have known that the career path was over for you until you got laid off, right? Or until they gave somebody else that promotion that you thought you should have got, right? Some people, for you, it's even your pets, right? Having to deal with a sick pet, or having to deal with a pet transitioning. For some people, it's a family member or marriage, or maybe even some type of business partnership, right? But whatever's happening now that you've had to let go of, this is something that you knew. Hold on, y'all. Everybody's just enjoying the beautiful day out, and the kids are still in school, so the park is not busy yet. Um, but whatever you're letting go of, it's like you knew that this thing needed to be let go of, right? So it wasn't like it may have been a shock to you how it all came down, right? Like how it all unfolded. It may have been a shock to you, but it wasn't a shock that this change needed to happen. Okay, so it wasn't a shock that this change needed to happen. You may have not been ready to face it. You may have not been ready to deal with it, but it wasn't a shock that this change was coming and this change needed to happen. And I hear the universe saying, and maybe the reason why maybe the reason why the shock may even have came in the way it did was because you may not have taken the steps that needed to be taken for you to let go and move on, right? Now, I do want to say what I'm hearing the universe say, you show up and I'll show out. The message that I was getting for the past few days is if you show up, right? If you show up mentally, if you show up emotionally, if you show up spiritually, okay? And for some people, it's even if you show up financially, and financially could be you just putting in or taking the last of what you think you have and making that investment into purchasing or donating or buying something that you think you can't, because this is all the money that you have, right? So the universe is saying, even if it's to step out on faith, even if it's to step out in action, even if it's to step out and you maybe committing or recommitting yourself to something, that's what's gonna need to take place for you to be able to see the universe show up. Okay, whatever is showing up in your whatever's showing up in your right now energy, I got to tell you, this is the world card. So something has come to a complete end. One cycle of your life has come to a complete end with this world card. Okay, this world card represents a cycle ending and a new beginning starting. Okay, so things have come full circle. For some people, this is a sense of what you may need to feel successful, your accomplishments, whether this is accomplishments in relationships, accomplishments in job and financial endeavors. The universe is saying whatever it is that you need or you think you want or you want to be successful on this trip around, you're going to have to take that leap of faith. You got the Fool card and you got the World card, okay? So when the Fool card shows up, the Fool card shows up to let you know that you're going to have to take that risk um, by free falling. You're not going to necessarily know how everything is going to come together. The only thing that you need to know that it's going to come together, right? The World card and the Fool card is saying that you're going to have to step out, and whatever this is, you're going to have to step out, and you're going to have to step out blindly, okay? But you're going to have to commit yourself to whatever this new thing is, okay? Whether it's working and losing weight, whether it's working and starting your business, whether it's working, like for me personally, it's working on being consistent, showing up here, doing these polls and these readings for you guys, right? But whatever it is, the spirit is saying that it has to be something that's going to be done with consistency, even on the days when you don't feel like you necessarily want to do this, okay? Or the days that you necessarily may not feel like you want to show up, okay? And you're going to have to push past the fear. You're going to have to push past the fear and the anxiety with the Four of Swords. And the Four of the Swords card for me is my come to Jesus or my come to Buddha or my come to Allah moment, right? This is a card to me that you get in a place of contemplation where it's a lot of mental thinking. It could even be mental overload. You're feeling like there's so much going on in your head, right? That you can't catch a break. There's not so much talking externally, there's more talking internally. So paying attention to the conversations you're having with yourself about yourself, like I said on Saturday, is going to be important, right? So this four of swords card is like regrouping, taking the time to sit and think before you actually move. But there's also dealing with the fear and anxiety or any feeling of overwhelmness that you have going on, especially around what's next or what success even looks like for you. Okay. Now, I hear Spirit saying, though, deal with the grief, the sadness, deal with the guilt, deal with the remorse, right? We do have the 5 of cups showing up upright. Deal with any type of heartache, remorse, any type of loss, or any type of residual resentment that you may have. Spirit is saying that these are things that are going to come up that you're going to have to deal with, right? You're not going to be able to ignore that you feel a way about something, that you feel disappointed, that you feel like giving up, that you feel despair, that you feel sadness. Spirit is saying, feel whatever it is that's coming up at this point, because that's going to be necessary to get you to the next step of feeling free and feeling successful and stepping into the things that you want, right? There's some fear and some anxiety and some grief that's going on here. And I even want to say, for some people, I feel like for some people, it's even like a shock. Like something has popped up where like it shocked the hell out of you. Like you, although you know that something may have been lingering, it shocks the hell out of you that you're experiencing what you're experiencing in the way that you're experiencing it. Right? It's kind of like you knew things had to change, and you knew it had to, like it had to. You knew it had to unfold, but the way this is unfolding, you didn't think that it was going to play out the way that it's unfolding. Spirit is saying that you are going to have to integrate everything, like, and let me just say this, because for me, when you're going through something that's life changing, right? Whether it's the change of a location, moving to a new city, a new town, a divorce, you know, a family member transitioning, whenever you're going through anything difficult, like for me, getting up this morning, I can tell you my heart was so heavy. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to make it out to the park today, because I woke up and I felt heavy, like my heart just felt heavy. And it's the type of pain that you can't take medication for, right? So you can't take medication for this type of sadness or grief or heartbreak that you feel, right? The only thing that you can do is face it, admit that you feel it, embrace it, cry if you need to, love on yourself if you need to, allow the people around you to support you if you need to. But you're going to have to get to a place where you integrate every aspect of what you're experiencing in this uncomfortable place to this new place that you're in, because you're in a new place, and it may not feel like you're in a new place, right? Because of all of this anxiety and overwhelming feeling that you got going, or the thoughts within your mind, or the contemplation going on within your mind, right? And the universe is saying, for some people, um, this is a beautiful offer that's wrapped up in uncomfortability, right? So if you think of maybe somebody handing you a gift, but they may not have had um like gift wrapping paper, right? So they may have had a piece of maybe paper bag, so they taped part of the paper bag on. They had a piece of newspaper, so they taped part of the newspaper on. So they're handing you this gift, and the gift wrapping paper itself look really shitty, right? The box may even have a dent in it, right? But when you take the gift wrapping off and you open the dented box, you realize that there's a most beautiful, amazing gift inside of the box. Something that you couldn't even begin to think that you even can ask for, right? So this is the energy that's happening right now. The universe is presenting you with the gift of success. The universe is presenting you with the gift of healing. The universe is presenting you with the gift of whatever your purpose is at this moment. And for some people, your purpose may just be self love. Your purpose may not even be anything where you have to do anything external. This could just be self love, right? There's a newness happening right now, and a lot of people are getting realigned back onto the path that they need to be on. And unfortunately, for some of us, the only way that we could get back on this path is to cause some type of interruption, and not just an interruption low key, like a high key interruption where you know that something like the rug just got snatched from under you, right? But the universe is saying, Don't avoid anything in this energy, right? You want to integrate everything. Don't avoid anything. You want to integrate everything, but you also want to look at things from a space of love, right? Now, this can be difficult to do when you are not feeling joyful, happy, blissful, um, stable, right? It can be difficult to do to move and operate in love when you're not feeling that love is around you, or you're not feeling that you can give love to this person or to this situation or to this particular um, project, right? You may feel like all the reserves that you have is for you, but can I tell you, one of the things with the universe saying show up and I'll show out is making sure that you're setting your intentions. Every day you get up, you need to be able to set your intentions, especially in the days when you feel like you can't. I got nothing to give, universe. Like I'm literally just showing up here, and you're gonna have to pour into me how you want me to move. You're gonna have to pour into me what you want me to say. You're gonna have to pour into me even what direction you want me to walk, right? Because there's some people out here literally just floating through their day based on routine, right? Like they're going through so much shit right now, but literally they're making it through the day just because they have a routine. I gotta get up, I gotta feed the kids, I gotta get up, I gotta take the kids to school, I gotta get up, I gotta cook dinner, I gotta get up, I gotta get this done, I gotta get up. So some people are literally just making it day to day, literally just making it day to day, right? Because of their routine. Not because they feel like getting up and making it a beautiful day, not because they feel like getting up and embracing all the love and energy that's around them, not because they feel like getting up and doing it all over again, right? Some people are getting up every day and having to literally set the intentions that they're going to take one step at a time to get through the day because of some type of sadness, grief, or loss, or disappointment, or maybe even guilt. Some people are operating with guilt and fear and anxiety, and especially not knowing where the next step is, or not knowing where the next check is coming from, or not knowing, how this relationship, this breakup is going to turn out, not knowing how this, how you're going to pay your son's tuition next month. Like people are going through real time shit, right? Now, I do want to say because guilt and sadness is coming up twice here, right? And what I hear spirit saying is, as you are showing up so the universe can show out, you cannot bring fear, guilt, and anxiety and lack of trust with you in this new energy. You can't do that, right? You're going to have to find some time, whether it's 5 minutes a day, whether it's putting on something to play for 5 hours a day, whether it's, while you're taking a shower, but you're going to have to curve out some time within this energy for you to be able to tap back into that place where all possibilities dwell. That might mean getting quiet and getting silent and just putting on some type of affirmation and some type of meditation, something that gets you in a positive mind of thinking and then into a positive place of feeling, because that's going to be important as you're walking through this energy, right? It's going to be very important for you to be able to get to the other side of this without you feeling that you are not going to be able to overcome fear, anxiety, worry, despair, right? Guilt, remorse. The only way that you're going to be able to get through these things is to face them. What are you fearful about? What are you anxious about? What are you feeling guilty about? What are you remorseful about, right? Because if you don't deal with those things, Spirit is saying you're going to begin to self sabotage, right? You're going to begin to self sabotage. And I kind of feel like some of you are dealing with people that's already in that motion, right? So you're being asked to trust, to take the risk, right? To deal with whatever anxiety, nervousness, or pain that's coming up. But it also feels like you have energy around you too, where you could be dealing with someone that's guilty. And it's a lot of self sabotage. Oh, I can't make this stuff up. You could be dealing with someone that's guilty and that's self sabotaging, but they're toxic, right? Or you could be the one that's dealing with other people and you're the one that's toxic and self sabotaging. And what Spirit is saying here is And what Spirit is saying here is that you're not going to be able to get to the end results and have it to be what you want it to be or what you want to experience if you don't face those fearful things, if you don't face the guilt. And for some people, even if it's guilt being projected on you, because there's a lot of that happening now too, right? There's a lot of guilt being projected on other people, right? Just know that there's some type of epiphany and there's some type of breakthrough coming. There's something coming in this week that's going to give you the clarification that you need to be able to get to the next step of this. Okay. So, whatever it is you're dealing with, whoever it is you're dealing with, okay, whatever emotion it is that you're dealing with, whatever physical experience that you're dealing with, okay, there's things unfolding this week that you're going to have to embrace. And they may not necessarily be the easiest things for you to embrace. I feel like there's messages coming in this week that you cannot avoid. You're going to have to take a risk and maybe step out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to maybe have those deep and painful conversations that you didn't necessarily want to have, right? Because those deep conversations may mean that change is required. These deep conversations that you're having may mean things may not ever be the same again, right? But there's sabotage going here, and there's sabotage going here with somebody or something that's toxic and not um and I don't want to say they don't so there's energy here of toxic patterns, toxic behavior, and sabotage. And I really feel it's because this person or this energy or this situation, it really feels more like a person. So if this is you, you may want to work on you here, right? It really feels like whatever this is, love is not present here, right? Whatever is being partaked here, love is not present, right? There's a lot of saying one thing and then doing the next, or doing one thing and then saying the next, right? So pay attention to any toxicity that you have around you. Pay attention to any energy vampires that you have around you. The message today is really, really simple. There is something of success, something that you're supposed to achieve, something that you're supposed to accomplish, right? Or something that you have accomplished, okay? Um, that is bringing you to a place of freedom, bringing you to a place of your own originality, bringing you to a place, I want to say, of knowing who you are and loving who you are, regardless of what anybody says and what anybody thinks, right? This is really falling into a place and being okay with you is what I hear Spirit saying. Now, I also hear Spirit saying, once again, the way to get to the other side of all of this is for you to be able to walk through the fear, the anxiety, the grief, the overwhelmed feeling. You're going to have to walk through those uncomfortable spaces within yourself, or maybe even within this relationship. Own what it is you're sad about. Own what it is you're disappointed about. Own what it is that you feel rejected about. Own whatever it is that's going on the side that has your emotions feeling a little like when you take a little pebble and you toss it in the water, you get some ripples, right? So whatever is in your emotions rippling right now, Spirit is saying you got to pay attention to those things, because it is time for you to integrate everything that you've learned, integrate the pain, the hurt, into and transmute it into love. I'm also hearing do not avoid the things that are popping up this week, especially the things that are popping up to bring you some clarity, even though they fucking hurt. Spirit is saying the things that are popping up to give you clarity, don't avoid them this week. That's going to be important, all right? Maintain self-love is what I hear Spirit saying also, and making sure that you're starting every day with an intention, even if it's one intention, even if that intention is for you to be able to give yourself the grace that you need, and maybe show somebody else the grace that they need. Be mindful of any guilt and toxicity, any self-sabotaging behavior around you, not just coming externally from other people, but any toxicity or any toxic patterns that you can find yourself looping in. Spirit is saying pay attention to that too, because that is also going to need to be worked on for you to be able to get to the other side of this. There is a breakthrough happening, like that song Epiphany. There is a breakthrough happening, okay? You're going to get breakthrough happening this week, but unfortunately, what I'm finding as we're moving throughout this week, what you may find is you may find answers to some questions that you're having this week, but the way the answers come into the questions that you have may not be so tactful. um, and may not they may hurt. But once the news come in and once you're able to get the real message or the real clarity or the real understanding, you'll find that everything that you need you already have within, and you'll find that all you have to do is to walk through to get to the other side. If I can be honest with you, the walking through to get to the other side can be the most difficult part, right? Because when your heart is aching or when your mind is racing because you don't know what's next or you don't know how to move, right? It's easy for somebody to come in and say, "Oh, this is temporary. You know, don't give up. Just keep going." It's easy for people to come in and say that, right? But people don't know or may not even understand in real time what that looks like. In real time, that looks like that you can feel very positive and good in this moment, and then 5 minutes later because a song comes on, or an hour later because you got a phone call, or an hour or two later because you saw a picture, an hour or two later because you saw, you were driving by and you saw a billboard, like these waves of different things come in at any given moment. So it's easy to say embrace it and to get to the other side, but embracing it to get to the other side, it means you're gonna have to take it moment by moment. You're gonna have to cry if you need to. You're gonna have to laugh when you need to. You're gonna have to take deep breaths when you need to, right? You're gonna have to admit and embrace what's in front of you, even when you don't want to, even because it's painful. You're gonna have to do these things. Okay? So, but the universe is saying, I want to show up for you in a mighty way, but I don't want you to self-sabotage anything. I don't want you to give up. You're going to have to walk through the fear that you feel. You're going to have to walk through the anxiety that you're feeling. You may even have to speak up and speak your mind, right? Um, you may find that too. Some people are having to speak up and speak their minds. Some people are just having to be able to accept what is. You can't change what's happening now in this situation. The only thing that you can change is you and how you move and how you think and how you react to the situation and how you feel, right? And own the feelings that are yours, even if they may not necessarily be true in 5 minutes from now, but they're true in this ever so present moment. You want to own that, right? So universe is saying, show up, commit yourself, recommit yourself to whatever this is, your healing, your business, your health, the relationship that just dissolved. Recommit yourself to the relationship that you have with yourself. Yes, this hurts, but the universe is saying, show up and I'll show you. Show up and I'll show you. Show up and I'll show you that everything that you need, I got your back. Everything. Don't allow guilt to stand in your way. Don't allow people to, or don't allow yourself to self sabotage. You need to be able to practice self love and operate with an intention. What's your intention now? What's the goal now? What's the plan now? And even if you don't have the goal or the plan now, what are you feeling now in this moment? What's going on now in this moment? Universe is saying, own it. Embrace it. If you're sad, embrace that you're sad. If you're happy, embrace that you're happy. You got to own all of that thing, all of these things with gratitude and knowing that you're going to get to the next side. But you got to show up, whether it's mentally, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically, whether it's spiritually. The universe is saying, show up and I'll show out. Show up. Just show up. Show up. That's all you got to do. Show up in your emotions. Show up in your actions. Show up in your health, right? Show up in your finances. Where do you need the universe to show up at? Where do you need the universe to show up at? Wherever you need the universe to show up at, the universe is saying, I will meet you there and I will show the hell out. I will give you things and experiences beyond your wildest imagination, beyond your wildest dreams. I will grant that to you, right? But first, you got to show up and you got to be honest with where you are. And it's okay not to have it all put together. It's okay not to have all of the answers. It's okay to feel hurt. It's okay to feel disappointed. Shit, it's okay to feel rage. Rage is an emotion too. But remember, emotions are indicators of where you need to be able to get to the next step. Your emotions are not meant for you to get stuck in them. Your emotions are meant for you to use them as an indicator to identify where you are, where you need to be, or where you were, right? They're not meant for you to get stuck, right? This new shift is going to require change. And the change that it's going to require first and foremost is not just a spiritual change, but it's going to require an energetic change mentally and emotionally, which means the old thoughts, the old feelings, the old habits, the old patterns, the toxicity, toxic relationship, toxic thinking, toxic behavior, you know, toxic sabotaging of oneself. All of these things cannot come in this new shift that we're in. We're not going to a new shift, we're already here, right? So, although it's painful, for some people, although it's mind boggling for other people, although it's anxious for some people because you don't know what's next. Like some people, we literally don't know what's next, right? But sometimes not knowing what's next is a beautiful thing when you're doing it from a child's perspective and an imagination perspective, because then you get to create what you want it to be next, and the universe will meet you there. You show up, and the universe is saying, "I will show up, and I'll show out." Okay, my loves. I am going to be back here tomorrow. Hey, Miss Kim. I'm going to be back here tomorrow, okay, for another energy check in. But I just wanted to give you that message. I've been hearing that message for a few days now. The universe is saying, you show up and I'll show up. I don't care how much pain you're in right now. I don't care how disappointed you are right now. I don't care how hurt you are right now. I don't care how anxious you are right now. I don't care how much you're overthinking you are doing right now. I don't care where you don't know where your next dollar is going to come from right now. I don't care if you don't know where your next love is going to come from right now. I don't even care if you don't know where your next meal is going to come from right now. But I need you to show up and I'll show out, right? And the first step of showing up is just meeting the universe emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Just have a conversation with the universe about your truth. There's no good or bad, right? It's just your truth. And that's important. Your truth is important, right? Your truth is important. Okay. All right, my loves. I appreciate you all. This was beautiful. I'm going to go hiking now, right? I got to get my 6 miles in. And um, old timeline me would have said that I'm behind, but I think new timeline me is going to say I'm right on time, right? It's beautiful out. The sun is out. The kids are not out yet because they're not out of school yet. So I can kind of get to walk around my trail. Um, I don't know if I told you all about this experience that I've been experiencing for the past 3 weeks now, because I'm going into 3 weeks that I've been walking 6 miles. And this is a beautiful experience because I have this experience where I'm walking and the deers just come out and they'll stand at the side of the trail and they'll just stare at me as I walk by. And I'll be like, hey. And sometimes when I wave, sometimes they run because I'm moving. But if I just walk quietly and turn to them and smile, they just stand there and look at me in awe. And I'm just standing there looking at them in awe, right? And then it reminds me of my oracle card from my ancestor deck that says, with the deers on it, it says trust and thrive. So every time I see the deers on my daily walk, I'm like, I'm trusting and I'm thriving, okay? Because that's what that image reminds me of. But that's my message for you, trust and thrive. I love you guys. I think that we're in a beautiful season, we're in new beginnings, and it's uncomfortable for some people, it's scary for others. But if we show up, the universe is saying that it's going to show out. So show up. Think of something different. Feel something different. Dream something different. Be you, right? So a lot of people are being reintroduced to themselves right now, but it's not the most comfortable feeling because that means that you're being ripped away from something that is not you or not of you anymore, okay? And that can always be uncomfortable. All right, my love. So I appreciate y'all. I will see you guys tomorrow for our next unpacking in the park before my hike. Okay. Love you guys. Bye. Have a nice day. Do something kind for yourself. Love yourself. Honor yourself. And do for somebody else too. Not because they deserve it, but because you can. Bye, my love.